Life process. All organisms have capacity to produce offsprings. In the life cycle of organism, the mechanism of producing reproductive unit in male and female bodies, their fusion to make the very first cell of new life and its development into a baby organism of the same kind is called reproduction. In general, reproduction of flowering plants takes place by the formation of seed in flowers and germination of seeds into new plants. In non-flowering plants, direct growth of new plants occurs through their root or stem or leaf or and other parts. Some of the lower plants and fungi make special units of reproduction called spores. Spores. In higher animals, male and females are separated and they make reproductive cells or gametes in their reproductive organs. After mating between an adult male and adult female of the same species of the fusion of their gametes leads to develop new life which gets birth either directly from the mother's womb or through the hatching of eggs. Organisms which are least developed and have a poor ability of fertilization continue their race asexually. In this way, reproduction is an essential life process for the continuation of generations. Reproductive. There are many kinds of organisms on earth. All these organisms are giving birth to their kind anyway. Animals reproduce their through eggs or giving direct birth or adopting any of a sexual methods. In plants, reproduction occurs either through the seeds or spores on any of the sexual methods. Asexual methods give birth to one kind of through any biological method by organism is called reproduction. Reproduction is an essential and internal quality of every organism through which they are continue their generation. Importance of reproduction prevents the extinction of organisms by continue their generation. Reproduction balance the death rate of organism by giving new births. Reproduction of the basics of existing of new generation. Reproduction balance the magnitude of biodiversity in the ecosystem. Asexual reproduction in plants and animals. Organisms reproduce in various ways. Advanced organisms have separate male and female reproductive organs to produce male and female gametes, and they reproduce their kind of fusion of male and female gamete. A fusion male gamete female gamete is called a zygote, which gradually develops into seed or baby animals. But some organisms reproduce through a specific organs without the fusions of gametes. New young unionins are developed through such organs by fragmenting fragmenting bonding or specific reproductive units. The reproduction through a specific organ without a fusion of gametes is called asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction is found in many organisms. Asexual reproduction various types. They are fusion, budding, fragmentation, regeneration, sporulation, parthenogenesis, fission. Fission. The formation of new organism by splitting parent body is called fission. Fission. It occurs only in unicellular organisms like prokaryotic Monera and eukaryotic Protista. After fusion, the parent cell does not exist. It is broken into new smaller cells of its kinds. There are two types of fusion, binary and multiple. The splitting of a mature parent cell into two halves is called binary fusion. In this the parent cell splits longitudinally or transversely into two new cells. Therefore, binary fusion may be longitudinal or transverse. All all unicellular organisms like amoeba, parasium, Igulina, Orchia, bacteria cholera, Anabaena, and blue-green algae and adopt binary fusion for reproduction. In multiple fusion, the body cells of living being is divided into more than two pieces, and every piece develops into a individual cell. Multiple fusion is adopted mainly by Plasmodium Chlamydomonas, Vorticella, and almost all protists and algae. Under a microscope, draw their figure on the particle sheet and submit it to your subject teacher and discuss about the method of asexual reproduction in them. Building a yeast hydra, obelia, tenia, corollas, and jellyfish like lower organisms adopt the body building process of sexual reproduction. In this method, a small bud appears on a body which gradually grows into the complete organisms and separate from the parent body. Fragmentation with the various physical activities of the developed animals, wind and water, the body of some plants gets fragmented into many pieces, and every piece grows in a new plant. Mechanism of growing fragments into completely new plants in their natural habitat is called fragmentation. Many lower plants like Spirogyra merchantia, ferens, lichens, mucor, etc. follows this method. Regeneration usually occurs in lower animals like hydra, tapeworm, planaria, starfish, earthworm, leech, etc. The growth of a cut or separated piece of the body into a whole new body is called a regeneration. In this process, the separated part of the body does not die if kept in its natural habitat and starts to grow into a complete body. The last particle in the parental body also grows for compensation. Sporulaton. Front ferens, mushrooms, merchantia, mucor, etc. Lower plants reproduce sexually by producing spores. Reproduction through spores is called sporulation. A spore is a special type of reproduction unit, and it is a single cell. Spores are reproduced in a capsule called a spongria, singular spongrium. The biological process of a spore formation inside sporangium is called sporogenesis. After maturation, spores spores spread through wind and germination into new plants. If they get moist places with a plenty of organic substances. Observation and discussion. Parathenogenesis. A development of a new body of organism from utilized eggs is called a parathenogenesis. It is a kind of a biological miracle which occurs in some species of the both plants and animals. The ovary and ovule in apples, pineapples, and cucumbers directly drawn into the fruit and seeds without fertilization. The utilized egg of an ants, termites, and grasshoppers also directly develop into their babies. The drone bees are also produced directly from the unfertilized eggs of the queen bee. Significance of asexual reproduction. Asexual reproduction does not need to produce a fuse male and female gametes. Asexual reproduction has no concept of male and female. Asexual reproduction can be initiated on usually of a vegetative or somatic cell. Sexual reproduction develops a specific reproduction unit of continuous growth to a new body. Except for environmental effects, the organism for sexual reproduction remain genetically identical to each other. um, Vegetative propagation in plants. The body of a flowering plant has two main parts: vegetative vegetative and reproductive parts. Flowers is the reproductive part of a plant because the flower performs pollination, fertilization, and formation of seeds inside fruits. All other parts except flowers, a root, stem, and leaf are vegetative parts. Asexual reproduction through any one of the vegetative parts is called a vegetative propagation. There are different types of natural and artificial vegetative propagation: root, underground stem, aerial stem, bulbous leaf. Root. The root of some plants like roses, shiso, guava, etc. have some buds. If such roots with buds are separated from their stem and buds start to grow and give new stems, asparagus, sweet potato, and dahlia also have have stored plenty of nutrients and water in their roots, which also gives rise to new stems with leaves. A new set of roots also grows from base of the new stem, which later on develops with into a separate plant. Underground stem are five types: sucker, rhizome, comb, bulb, and V. Tuber and tuber, and they are more able for vegetative propagation. Suckers with a bunch of roots are developed under the main stem, which later on develop as new plants. In the case of mint, pistia, banana, bamboo, ground raspberry, etc. The rhizome is underground stem storing plenty of water and nutrients and lies almost flat just under the surface. Ginger, turmeric, calamus root bozo, and plants like ferns have the rhizomes. Rhizome has given rise to many birds which grows as new plants in every season. Colocasia pindalu and gladiolus have corn full of nutrients and water at the base of their green shoot, which produce few buds and that can be grown into new plants. The bulb is another round-shaped underground stem found in onions, garlic, tu- tulips, etc., which are also enriched with nutrients and water can give new plants from the buds they have. The underground stem of potatoes and yams is called a tuber. A tuber has some depressions called eyes, akha, in the beginning. Later on, birds arise from these eyes of for propagation. Aerial stem of some plants like sugarcane and grab grass, dubo, bear some buds and their notes which when comes in a contact with moisture can grow new shoots and roots and take the form of new plants. This is the reason that farmers use cut pieces of sugarcane to sow for new crops. Grabgrass dubo rapidly comes into the field of the provided with the required environment. Bulbils. In some plants, few buds are formed at new nodes or the base of the leaf or on the top of short fleshy stem which is called bulbils. New roots and shoots grow from these bulbils to be the new plants. Pineapples, agaves, Kituke, lily, onion, garlic, etc. propagate through their bulbous leaf of some plants like brololium, begonia, kalanchio, uh, sansevieria or snake plant and crassula and give 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 rise to to the new plant from their leaves. Notages on the margin of a bryophyllum. Bryophyllum leaf bear of small bud, each which gradually gives rise to new shoot and root systems. When an old leaf falls on the soil, many babies plants of a bryophyllum grow from the fallen leaves of the above mentioned plants are also given new plants more or less in the similar way. This much for today.